My friends, hello. I've shared before that when I was early in my leadership journey, I really wasn't behaving as a leader. I was behaving as a manager. And well, what is the difference between the two, right? So I had been a leader before. I had been a leader when I was in college, and I was leading this whole group of 30 volunteers. It was this church service that I had put together. It was focused on the unchurched and the dechurched, and it was led entirely by students. And the pastor didn't even give a sermon. It was all student-led testimonial type sermons. And I had this group of 30 people that were really, you know, making it all happen. They were all volunteers, and I was responsible for coaching, guiding, leading them. And so I knew that I had been a leader before, and I had been a successful leader. But then I get to my first professional role, and I was really not leading anymore, but I was managing really, really effectively. And that's when I started hearing people talking about the hammer. You've heard me tell this story before, that the hammer was coming and whatever, and that's why I have this Thor's hammer that I always keep behind me on the shelf, is to remind myself to not be a hammer. That being the hammer is really not a helpful thing, because people were fearing me. And when we're really, really effective managers, sometimes we lose sight of the difference between management and leadership. Well, what really is the difference between management and leadership? I read an article recently that I thought did a really, really nice job of articulating it. And the distillation of the article really is that there's a lot of different ways that we used to view leadership. Really, that kind of command and control. I'm the person with the biggest title, therefore I'm the leader. Well, that worked back in the 80s and maybe in the 90s, but now it's not really true anymore. Now you can be a leader without a title. And now you can have a big title and not be a leader. What is the difference between the two? This is how I look at it. Now, there's broadly agreed upon value put on leadership. We all can agree that being a leader is important, and having a leader in an organization is important, and that we need leadership, and that we need people to want to follow leaders so we can get things done. But what does leadership mean? This is how I think we should put it. Management, in my mind, is really about process, numbers, hitting goals, having a team of people that you're making sure do the things that they're supposed to do. That's management. If we really distill it all down, that's management. But what is leadership? Leadership, if we really think about what does a leader do, leadership is about motivating, inspiring, empowering, helping other people to become their best self so that they can then go and become a leader. And so our organizations can continue to grow because new leaders have more ownership and they're doing more things. So when you think about it, really, management is a role and leadership is a behavior. Management is a role, leadership is a behavior. You can be a manager and not be a leader because you're not behaving like a leader. You can be a leader without being a manager because you don't have the title. Management and leadership are not the same. They are separate functions. And when we think of it this way, that you can have the title and you can have the behavior, or vice versa, you can choose how you act. You can choose how you behave, as I was doing when I was the hammer. I was really, really proud of getting numbers done and really making things happen. But I wasn't having people follow me because I wasn't getting them to buy into me. When I changed my behavior and started behaving like a leader, people started to follow me. And that changed everything for my entire career trajectory. So for you, what can you do? Think about this next time you're in a situation where you're like, okay, am I really behaving like a leader or not? Am I motivating, inspiring, empowering people? If you're not, well, then shift your behavior. And if you are, congratulations, because you're behaving like a leader.